May 25, 2010, students from the Wellesley, Massachusetts Public Middle School were taken on a field trip to the Muslim American Society's Boston Mosque. During their visit, students were asked to participate in the Muslim midday prayer. Several Wellesley Public School boys took part. How did Wellesley Public School teachers allow this to happen? A mother who joined the field trip describes her experience.
My 11-year-old son is a student at Wellesley Middle School. In mid-May, the school sent a permission request for him to participate in a social studies class field trip to a mosque. I was told that the goal of the trip was to learn about the mosque's architecture and to give the students an authentic experience inside a mosque by observing Islamic religion firsthand. Something didn't feel quite right about public school kids being taken to have an authentic experience in a place of worship. I was a little concerned. As I did a bit of research into the mosque, known as the Islamic Society of Boston Cultural Center, as well as the organization that runs it, the Muslim American Society, I discovered, to my alarm, that the mosque is highly controversial.
A Fox Undercover investigation has documented that several of its leaders, past and present, do have ties to Islamic terrorism.
The mosque was founded by Abdul Rahman al-Amudi, who is currently serving 23 years in prison for his participation in an al-Qaeda terror plot. The Muslim American Society, which runs the mosque, has been identified by federal prosecutors as the overt arm of the Muslim Brotherhood. The top donor to the mosque, and one of its legal owners in trust, is wealthy Saudi national Walid Fatahi, who has written in Arabic newspapers that Jews were always after killing the prophets. Alarmingly, this anti-Semitic message appears to be reaching some of the mosque's own youth.
The Jews didn't assassinate the prophet.
The Jews assassinated the prophet?
They tried to.
They did.
Anytime.
Recently, one of the mosque's imams was taped appearing to incite his followers.
Grab onto the shovel, grab onto the gun and the sword. Don't be afraid to step out into this world and do your job.
I also learned that the Islamic Society had promoted wife-beating on its website, instructing men to hang a whip in the household as a warning for unruly wives. I was concerned and decided to join the field trip as a chaperone, and I brought my camera. As soon as I walked into the mosque, I was approached by a white female American convert who was to be my escort. The event seemed well orchestrated, like a sales pitch. Everyone was very friendly.
I have to believe in Allah, and Allah is the one God, the only one worthy of worship, all forgiving, all merciful, wise, knowing. Everything we do is to please God, and because God has guided us to do those things.
The substance of the mosque presentation to students was troubling. It really didn't seem very educational. The Islamic Center spokeswoman was presenting distorted history and sometimes came close to proselytizing.
At the time of the Prophet Muhammad, women were allowed to express their opinions and vote in the matter. And in this country, women didn't gain that right until less than 100 years ago. So Islam actually was very advanced in terms of recognizing women's rights.
The claim that women were allowed to vote in Muhammad's 7th century Arabia is simply not true. Muhammad was a supreme ruler who claimed divine sanction from Allah. No one, not even men, were allowed to vote. And in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia today, both men and women have few political rights. In fact, women still aren't even allowed to drive cars there. Yet it's not surprising that the mosque would seek to minimize the abuse of Saudi women. Over half of the mosque's $15 million price tag was paid by donors living in Saudi Arabia.
I was wondering how many school children had been told that women were freer under Muhammad than under George Washington or Theodore Roosevelt. Miseducating the students about Islamic history was one thing, but what the mosque tour guides did next was totally inappropriate and shocking. The spokeswoman announced that it was almost prayer time and taught the kids how to say the daily prayer.
In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Alhamdulillah, al-Alamin, all praise is due to the ruler of all the worlds.
All the women chaperones, female teachers and girls, were asked to leave the prayer area, but the boys were asked to stay. Because we were sitting far away, I didn't notice it at first, but I was shocked to look up and see some of the middle school boys praying with the men of the mosque, following the movements of the faithful, prostrating themselves with their foreheads on the ground. Apparently, while we weren't looking, the boys were asked to join in the prayer, and some of them did. I was shaking as I saw one of the Jewish boys praying. I looked at the teachers to do something, to say something. No one said anything, perhaps afraid to offend. I wanted to get out quickly and go home. After the field trip, I checked the permission slip. There was nothing there to inform parents that their children would be joining in prayer, only that they would be observing.
According to the school's social studies chair, the trip was recommended by a Watertown-based nonprofit called Primary Source. According to the group's website, it partners with 50 schools and districts across Massachusetts and has held events with mosque leaders before.
How many public school students have visited the Roxbury Mosque or other mosques and been offered to join the prayer?
In fact, all across the country, there are reports of radical Islamic groups engaging in dawah, which literally means proselytizing for Islam, by taking advantage of poorly considered social studies curricula. One such dawah organization, DawahNet, even offers a helpful guide for proselytizing in public schools, noting that students are receptive to new ideas. According to the website, public schools are therefore fertile grounds where the seeds of Islam can be sowed inside the hearts of non-Muslim students. In fact, the Boston Mosque's top donor and trustee, Walid Fatahi, actually boasted about the increase of proselytizing opportunities in Boston. Father Raymond Helmick, a Jesuit priest and Boston College professor, is one of the Islamic Center's most fervent supporters, but even he has condemned Fatahi's proselytizing efforts.
Fatahi wrote an article for the Ashaq newspaper that comes out of London, Arabic newspaper. It was picking up on the fact that subsequent to 9/11, people began to take a much greater interest in Islam, trying to understand more what is Islam about. And he took this as a positive sign and said that this put them in the position to start making converts. His ideas about this is a chance to proselytize, this was pretty offensive.
The whole notion of having a religious practice as part of a school field trip concerns me. How can we entrust our children to a school system that appears to act so irresponsibly?
Historically, the ACLU has been at the forefront of the battle to keep religion out of public schools. In fact, in 2009, the ACLU in Minnesota sued a charter school run by Muslim American Society officials for promoting prayer at the school. The ACLU's New England Education Director, Nancy Murray, shown here taking part in a public event at the mosque, is a strong supporter of the Muslim American Society. Nevertheless, we would normally expect the ACLU to take the lead in investigating any promotion of prayer or proselytizing to Massachusetts public school students. Public officials, including Wellesley Middle School's principal Joshua Frank, Wellesley School Superintendent Bella Wong, and Chair of the Wellesley Board of Selectmen, Catherine Babson, need to investigate this incident, hold those responsible accountable, and ensure that it will never happen again. Moreover, the role of Primary Source in influencing the educational curriculum in Massachusetts public schools must also be investigated. Our institutions are failing us. Our public schools must not allow the Muslim American Society to proselytize to our public school students.